a series, at this point we would have a quiz. But some of you have been on holiday, some of you have missed a few weeks. I wasn't here for a few weeks. So I thought today it wouldn't be fair to do a quiz, so we're going to do a quick recap instead. And of course, every week we've been careful to remind you that Jesus was able to do the miracles because he used the power of God. After all, he was the Son of God. And we've also been very careful to remind you that miracles are something impossible but true. We said it every week. You should know, miracles are impossible but true. Exactly. And miracles are not tricks. But of course, you will also remember our resident clown, the Great Gonzo. Now, I've invited Gonzo the Great to come back today and show us all of the tricks that he has done every week to show you how to impress your friends. Now, the reason I've asked him to do them all today is this. I don't normally give you homework in kids' church, but today I'm going to give you homework just to get you ready to go back to school. What I want you to do, I want you to watch the tricks very carefully. Okay? Gonzo the Great, of course, has shown you how to do all the tricks. So I want each of you to choose one of the tricks. I want you to go home and practice it. If there's anything that you need, I've got extra balloons and I've got all sorts of stuff. You can get it all out from me at the end. So I want each one of you to come up and do one of your tricks next week. And it doesn't matter if you all do the same one. It really doesn't matter. So, if you need an assistant, you can bring your mum, or you can bring your dad, or you can use your brother or your sister to work together. I don't care. I want each one of you to come next week and do a trick. Also, don't worry if your trick doesn't work. You will remember, hopefully, at the very start of this, I told you a true story about a client that came to our house for a birthday party, and he was getting paid money to do these tricks, and he did one trick over and over and over again, and he went out, then he came back, then he did it again, and his trick never worked. So don't worry if it doesn't work, but you've got all week to practice. So, over to you.
All right. Okay. Here's a balloon. Okay.
Okay. What are you going to do with this balloon? I'm the assistant.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, what do you think this would do? So can you Okay. So what do you think this would do to the balloon?
What's going to burst?
So this is going to burst. Hands up who thinks this is going to burst the balloon.
I laugh, it does.
Right. Okay. So.
It did burst. Okay.
Right, okay. So, I'm going to do another trick.
Okay, one more trick.
Okay. You see this?
I wasn't here this week, so you got it.
Right. You think I can drink this without touching it? Without touching that bottle? In fact, I'll leave it corner.
You're going to have to touch the bottle.
No, I'll hide it.
No, you have to touch the bottle.
No, I can
You
drink
don't
that.
have to touch the bottle.
I can drink that.
You're going to have to touch the bottle.
No, I can't touch the bottle.
It's the hand.
Right.
It's the hand. I'm trying to hit.
Okay, I won't touch the bottle and I won't touch the hat.
I put a drink in.
I will not touch the hat.
You're going to get the sack. Yes, you won't touch
I won't touch anything and I will drink that. Okay? Got it. Okay?
Simon, I don't think you're drinking that. There's no way you're drinking that. You haven't taken a drink from that at all. Stiller, and you touched the bottle. So if you're going to change this drink next week, get the words right. It's the half touch. Okay, one more trick.
Okay? One more trick. I'm going to clean my ears out. Nothing like a good clean of your ears.
Where's it going? I always knew there was nothing in there. Now it's full of tissues. Okay. So, what's next for
Right, okay, well, there's no my balloon, okay?
Yeah.
And you think one pen will burst the balloon? One pen?
Yeah, one pin should have burst the balloon.
Yeah, she burst the balloon. So what do you think if I had 20 pins?
But I wasn't here this week, so.
Well, what do you think if there's 20 pins? Do you think it would make it louder?
Yeah, if there's that many pins, it's going to be really loud. Yeah, it's definitely going to be loud.
Okay, and do you think it bursts quicker or slower?
Well, it's bound to burst quicker. One pin can burst instantly, but when it's bound to burst even quicker with that many pins.
We'll see. And real quick.
These pins are not sharp. Oh, actually, they are.
Okay.
Actually,
I believe it balance the soul. Look.
and it didn't burst.
And it didn't burst.
Wow, what a trick.
See? And look, just so you know. Oh. Right, side away.
And what's this for?
This. Well, here's a rope.
Oh, right, okay. Nice. Everybody's got one of these.
Right, okay. So you try that rope.
Well, I wasn't here all week to practice it, so I don't know how this. I still don't know how this works.
Well, you check that. Check that. Is that just an ordinary rope?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let us check up your sleeves. No.
Right, okay. So. Right, okay. So give that a go.
Right, I've thought of another way. Right,
okay.
You hold it.
Right, okay.
Now you put it whatever way you do it. Now don't let go. Don't let go. There, I've had it. I can do it.
Sit down on the right side and try left bar off tricks.
Okay. So, now we're doing all of those tricks. Now, next week, I'm looking forward to what you're going to show us and how you're going to perform all these tricks. But of course, today we're here really to talk about the miracles, to remember the miracles that we've been thinking about over the last few weeks. And all of the miracles are written down in the Bible, in the books that we call the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke and John. And Matthew, Mark, Luke and John, they were followers of Jesus. They got to go around and they got to see when these miracles actually happened. And they wrote them down to us to read about them. And some of the miracles are in all of the Gospels, but some of the Gospels have different miracles than other ones. But it's not that they got it wrong. It's a bit like this. If you were all at a birthday party, and I asked you, how was the party? Denzel might say to me, the party was brilliant. You should have seen the size of the bouncy castle. And then we played loads of games. It was a great party. And if I asked Kina, she might say, yeah, the party was brilliant. We played games. We even played Pass the Parcel. It was a really good party. And if I asked Martin might say, yeah, we played lots of games. And we had lots of yummy food. It was a really good party. But if you asked Tasha would say it was a brilliant party. We had ice cream. And we had cake. So, nobody was wrong, but everybody told me about different parts. So if we put it all together, then I know the party was great. They had a big bouncy castle. They had lots of games, including Pass the Parcel. They had lots of yummy food, including ice cream and birthday cake. And that's a bit like the Gospel. Everybody wrote down what they remembered, the bits that they wanted to tell people, and we can compare and look at them. There are lots of miracles that we can all read about, but each of the disciples just wrote down a selection of the miracles that they remembered. And the Bible also tells us that Jesus did so many miracles. They couldn't all be written down in one book. So each of the disciples, as I say, wrote down a selection of what they remembered, what they wanted to tell other people. So there are lots more that you can read about. But we have only been talking about 7 of them. And we haven't just been spending 10 minutes listening to nice stories. We want to learn something from the miracles that we have talked about. So let's do a recap and see what we've actually learned. The first miracle that we did, that we heard about, was when Jesus was at a wedding and he turned water into wine. Now it wasn't a big life or death dramatic situation, but for that bridegroom, he had one job to do. And it's typical man syndrome. He had one job to do, he didn't get it right. He was supposed to provide enough drinks for all of the guests, but they ran out. There wasn't enough. But Jesus cared enough. Even though it was a big thing to that man, it wasn't a big thing really. But Jesus cared enough because he knew that poor bridegroom was going to be in awful trouble, or at least really embarrassed in front of his wife's family, his new family. of our lives. Big problems and small problems. Jesus cares about all of our lives. Then we went on for the next few weeks. We heard about miracles of healing. And we learned that Jesus does things his way. Might have the same end result, but we can't tell Jesus how to do things. We can't tell God how things should work. Jesus does his things his way. We remember that Jesus touched the leper, when in those days no one would even go near somebody with leprosy, and if you touched them with leprosy, you were sure to catch it too. But Jesus didn't even worry about that. Jesus went straight ahead and touched the leper, and he was healed. Then we heard about the official, the royal official's son. He would have been a popular man. He would have had a big house and servants and probably loads of beds. Everybody wanted to go to his house. But Jesus didn't go. He had asked Jesus to come because his son was sick. But Jesus wouldn't go. But Jesus did say, your son will live. And right at that minute, his son got better, totally healed. Then the next miracle we heard about was when a lady came to Jesus and touched his clothes. She had spent all the money she had going to doctors, buying medicine. Nothing worked. She was as sick as ever. She came to Jesus and touched his clothes, and she was instantly healed. But that part all happened when Jesus was supposed to be on his way to Jairus' house. He was in a hurry to get there because Jairus' daughter was very, very sick. And that whole incident slowed him down. He didn't get there in time. The girl had died. Jesus went straight ahead anyway. He went into her room and he brought her back to life. Now she wasn't sick anymore. But Jesus was able to sort that situation out when everyone around thought, it's too late. There's no hope. But Jesus still did the miracle. And Jesus can do that for us. If we think there's no hope or it's too late, it's never too late with Jesus. Then we moved on to the story where Jesus fed 5,000 people. And it was more than 5,000. The Bible tells us it was 5,000 men. Then there was their wives and their families, their children. There was lots of people there. And they'd all been following Jesus. They'd listened to him teaching and talking all day. Jesus realized that they would be hungry. There wasn't much food around. But what Jesus did was he took what they did have. He thanked God for what they did have. And then he used what they had, passed it out among them, and they all had enough food. An amazing miracle. And that teaches us that we should be willing to use whatever we have. Thank God for whatever it is that we have. Be willing to use it for God and let him do the rest. And then, of course, last week we had the story of calming the storm. And we said that you might never be in a small boat out in the big sea in a big storm, but you will have storms, difficulties in your life. And we said that Jesus can calm the storms in your life. And remember the day that the disciples and Jesus were out in that boat. They were out on the sea. There was a big storm, of course, and then Jesus calmed the storm. They were still out at sea. They still had to work and row and whatever they do to get to the other side. They still had to do that. But now they can do it safely because Jesus had calmed the storm. And Jesus can do that for us as well. So we have lots of things that we have learned from the miracles. Remember I told you that the miracles are all written down in the Gospels, written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Well, John wrote something else in his book. And it's in John chapter 20, verse 31. And this is where it's written in the International Children's Bible. It says, these things are written so that you can believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God. Then, by believing, you can have life through his name. You see, John and the other disciples were there. They actually got to see the miracles happen. But even the disciples sometimes found it hard to believe. These were things that they'd never seen the like of this before. But they had to believe because they were there, they saw it happen, so they did believe. But I think that John knew that other people who weren't there, people who didn't see it actually happen, they might struggle to believe. And that's why he wrote the things that he chose to tell you about in his book, and the other disciples did the same. That would help you to believe that Jesus actually is who he said he was, the Son of God. we can have life with him. We can have eternal life in heaven with him. And that's the whole point of listening to the stories of the miracles, just like John said, so that we can believe that Jesus is the Son of God. So next week, I'm looking forward to next week. Because I'm looking forward to you coming up and doing the tricks. It's going to be a brilliant week. Don't miss it. Make sure you're here. But also, as well as the tricks that you're going to do, we save the best for last. Next week, we're going to hear about the most marvelous, the most megatastic, the most amazing miracle of all. Don't miss it. Now we're going to sing. I know that was a bit longer than usual, so we're just going to sing the same song we had last week. We're going to listen. Ready? Okay. So we're going to say, our God is the great, strong and mighty. There's nothing that he cannot do. And don't forget, if you need any props for tricks, one that you choose that you're going to do in practice, so come see me after. I probably
Our God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. Our God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that he cannot do. The mountains are his, the rivers are his, the stars are his handiwork too. Our God is so big, so strong and so mighty, there's nothing that you cannot do.